Hey everybody, today I'm going to review Beta's brand new model 1491 oil filter wrench. Now, unlike a traditional strap oil filter wrench that's directional, the 1491 has this large forcing screw, and when you tighten that up, the band itself is going to clamp down around an oil filter and give you 360 degrees of clamping force. Now, where that's going to make a big difference are oil filters that are extremely tight or they're covered in oil. Because you already know when you reach up there and try to remove it, it's not going to go anywhere. And you're going to have to reach either for a standard pair of oil filter pliers, the correct oil filter socket, or some people actually take a screwdriver, poke a hole all the way through it, and then twist it off that way. But the 1491 is going to clamp on there. You'll be able to break that tension free very easily and then spin it the rest of the way off by hand. Now, this will also help when installing oil filters because you can add that little bit of extra that you need to tighten it up correctly and you're not going to damage anything. Because on the strap itself are small raised indentations, and that's going to lock it in place. You're going to be able to tighten it up or loosen it correctly, and they're not enough to actually damage the filter or poke a hole through it, so you're not going to cause any leaks. So next I'm going to show you exactly how this clamps onto an oil filter. Then we're going to get underneath the vehicle, remove an oil filter with this, and then we're going to install the new one just to see how well the 1491 actually works. Okay, to show you how easy the 1491 actually clamps onto an oil filter, first we're going to slip it right over top of this purulator, and then what we'll do is clamp it down. So you can see there's still a little bit of play there. And in order to clamp down that force, all you need to do is turn the forcing screw clockwise to tighten it up. And as it tightens, the band is going to get very tight around the actual filter itself. And then once it bottoms out, you can just stop, and now the filter is secure. You can see how that band wraps around there, and all those little dots are actually little indentations that are pressing into the actual surface of the filter itself. So you can see with me twisting this, it's not going anywhere. And if I wanted to either loosen it or tighten it up, I could do that very easily because of the Beta 1491 oil filter wrench. Now let's say I break it free and I want to continue to turn it. Then all I'll need to do is just loosen this up slightly. Then the oil filter wrench will actually rotate. I'll retighten it, and then I can continue to either loosen it or tighten it as needed. Because sometimes these still will not come off very easily right at the beginning, and you may need the oil filter wrench to turn it one full revolution before you can actually spin it off by hand. Okay, here's the oil filter on a 2003 Honda Pilot. And typically I'll use a large set of oil filter pliers and squeeze down on this. It will crush in the sides of the filter, and then I can rotate it to loosen it up. But instead of using this, I'm going to use the Beta 1491 oil filter wrench. We're going to slip that right over the top of the filter, and then we're going to tighten that forcing screw down to make the band extremely tight around the filter itself. And you can see just holding this in place, I'm able to tighten that band very easily. And now just pressing on it with my thumb should be enough to loosen this filter up. You can see the filter's rotating. At this point, all I'll need to do is just loosen that forcing screw back up. And what I'll do is remove it completely. But if you have one that's really stuck, you could actually rotate it back again, retighten it, and then force it back out of the way. But since I already have the filter loosened, I'm now able to remove it very easily by hand because the Beta 1491 oil filter wrench was able to loosen this up for me. When you want to install the new filter, you'll just take some new oil, make it go around the actual rubber gasket itself so nothing hangs up. Then you'll put it on the actual mounting point, spin it on, and then you'll hand tighten it. So let's say you want to go around 3/4 of a turn, but all you can turn it by hand is maybe half a turn. That's where the 1491 is going to help you. Because what we'll do at this point is slip it over top of the brand new filter, tighten it up, just as we did when we wanted to loosen it, and now we're going to rotate it clockwise in order for it to tighten the actual new filter up. So now that's tightened down, and now we can rotate this filter clockwise to tighten it up that final quarter turn. And that's all there is to it. Now you would just release the tension on the forcing screw itself, and then you can remove the 1491 and the filter is installed correctly and it's not going to leak. And if you notice along here, there's no damage. It did not crush it in, and it did not peel any of the paint off or cause any chipping on the filter itself. So now you've seen the Beta Model 1491 oil filter wrench for yourself. It absolutely works flawlessly, and it does not damage the oil filters. You can tighten them back up very easily by hand, and you can remove them in those real tight situations where nothing else is going to work. I really like it because it's not crushing in the filter, and it's also not damaging it in any way. If you like this video, please click like. If you like my channel, please click subscribe. And thanks for watching.